Hello, I'm Stuart Howland. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about some of the artwork I'll be showing on Friday night, January 28th. This summer I began working on some works that basically they become a little bit sculptural. If you've seen my work around, I've worked for a long time on 2x4s where there's sort of panels. There's a little bit of a kind of comic strip narrative going on of sorts. But in this case, I've developed these works where the boards, the 2x4s, kind of configure into some sort of object. A lot of times references to human anatomy. There's or really objects, just sort of dumb objects. And so for instance, like a shirt. There's this piece here is called eyewear, and it refers to sort of like eyeglasses, except it includes the third eye. For a while my work was a lot of sort of circular work that kind of referred to mandalas and things like this. And this one, I guess, is sort of my Buddhist period. A lot of my work is predicated on collage. I work a lot just collaging. I like this sort of instantaneous way of making art. Granted, I take a lot of time to kind of space things and figure out just the right place to paste things down. But it's kind of a nice direct way of just working with imagery. And not that it never happens that I actually take a collage and then move it into a painting, but it's more of a way of, I guess it's sort of a mind discipline where I think in a collage kind of manner, and then when I eventually get to the 2x4s and the paintings, I'm a lot more open to, like I say, just kind of playing with images, pushing different images around, even though I'm working directly into paint. This particular work is really quite a simple work. It was a photograph of some ancient Roman kind of head. There's a little bit of a icon, kind of Byzantine icon used as a background. But then I found this old antique pan, and I like the way the pan fit perfectly with the head, and where the head itself is, it's probably a marble head that it's kind of eroded or scuffed up, and I just sort of like the patina that was on those objects and how they fit together. And and then I was lucky enough to go to the thrift store and find this mat and this frame, and I thought, I know just what piece I'm going to put in there. But I think this work here kind of prefigures some of the more object, kind of sculptural relief pieces, just where you have a common object and kind of playing with that. As I was saying that, a lot of times I use collage as a way to get in a certain mindset about putting different images together, playing with different images. In this case, there's a lot of imagery that is sort of everyday, kind of funny, silly objects, things like bowling pins, and there's different vessels and just a hat, a baseball glove. A lot of the things in there come from the yellow pages of the phone book, and this particular work is sort of a study in yellow. I have a variety of different yellow against black with some gray, and a lot of it was I just like certain shapes, and I like pairing like these everyday objects with sort of art historical references to ancient Egypt, and but again, everyday sort of objects like a baseball glove or a bowling pin, and then some odd little words that visually I think have an impact, and they're not actual words, but they're more like onomatopoeia. where it's things like ook and oib and lots of little O's, and I think there's some playfulness with those letters, with the baseball mitts and the ball in each one, you know, playing with that circle kind of theme, and just enjoying shapes, enjoying color. This particular piece I titled Apparition on an Upside Down Cue, and I liked, you know, I knew the work was going to be a cue, and at some point I was painting it and I'd flip it around, I'd paint upside down and sideways, and at some point I realized, oh, I want to keep the work as an upside down cue, and then, like I say, these images kind of, these apparitions find themselves on this upside down cue, and it sort of says to me that inspiration can happen to you anywhere. You know, that you can, it's nice to create a space like a letter, like a shirt, like a bottle, and that I can put things on there, and just that imagery can come from everywhere, anywhere, and you can put it together in whatever combinations you care to put them into. I'm influenced by world art. I look at everything. I mean, I look at art from different cultures. I look at Western art. I look at Asian art. I look at outsider art, children's art. One of the things that have influenced me a lot is like comic strips. I think, for instance, of the work of George Harriman. Some of this work comes out of looking at his Crazy Cat comic, and there's always these different props. You know, certainly the brick that Ignis Mouse hits Crazy Cat with. There's one piece where there's ink being poured out, and it flows throughout the whole comic strip and comes out at the bottom, and just a lot of everyday objects that he takes and uses them as sort of metaphors and things that his characters get involved with. But again, I look at all kinds of art, high art, low art. The other thing that influences me quite a bit is all the images I see young people make and children make. I've been an art teacher for 20 years and have worked with all ages, and have seen thousands and thousands of things that young children make, middle school children make, high school children make, and on into college and university-trained students. And I just kind of soak it all in, and then it sort of just kind of comes out of me, all those influences when I get in my studio and paint. I do a lot of work in the Sheboygan area school district now. I taught at North High and also at Etude High, which next year will become Ideas Academy. And then at some of the middle schools like Urban Middle School, Farnsworth, and Horace Mann here in Sheboygan. And I just, again, really enjoy working with young people. I love their creativity. I love the things they bring out. I try to design lessons that are kind of open-ended, where there's certain criteria we're trying to meet, but at the same time where kids can interpret that and express themselves, because I think that's really important, that people find their own vital expressive self. I also, with my work at Etude, and again next year it'll be Ideas Academy, we're a project-based school where kids study some academic thing. You know, it might be about, I had a student just do a piece about with the bees and the colony collapse, and so she made a piece where she did an installation piece with flowers and things like that, but she also really researched this topic, and I could go on and on with the different projects. Last year I had a kid do an amazing animation piece where she studied, she looked into the idea of local farms having their produce brought into schools as part of the school lunch program, and she you know, she researched this, she networked with people across the state, and in the end, she ended up making this amazing animation piece. It took her a whole semester to make this. And I just love being involved in these kind of projects with kids because, you know, I think, you know, art comes from something, and you know, I know my own self, it's like looking at encyclopedias, looking at magazines, looking at dictionaries and things like that, and then, you know, starting to sketch and starting to collage and just bringing the whole world into artwork, and I try to do that myself.